Total Sports Zone. All sports, all action, one zone.
We have got to talk about this incredible story. It's got everything. A superstar player, a absolutely devastating injury, and this wild race against time that could honestly define a team's entire championship run. So this is the question on every 49ers fan's mind, right? I mean, when a player's season is officially declared over, that's usually it, end of story. But what happens when over isn't quite over? Let's break this whole thing down.
First up, let's talk about the contenders' crisis. And we really got to set the stage here, because we're not just talking about any old team. We're talking about a real-deal title contender staring down a moment that could derail everything they've worked for.
So the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they've been an absolute powerhouse all season long. We're talking a stellar 11-4 record. They're not just aiming for a playoff spot, you know? Their sights are set on the Super Bowl, the whole shebang. And when you're playing at that level, every single player, every single snap, it's all just so critical.
And right at the very center of that team is this guy, all-pro linebacker Fred Warner. He's not just another player on the roster. People literally describe him as the heartbeat of that entire defense. He's the one calling the plays, he's the enforcer, he's the leader. Losing him, man, that's not just losing a player. It's like ripping the engine right out of the car.
And you can see his impact in the pure numbers, too. Before he went down with the injury, Warner had already racked up 51 tackles, which was leading the team. So this isn't just some abstract loss of leadership. No, this is a massive 51 tackle-sized hole punched right in the middle of their defense. Okay, so you've got this Super Bowl contender and their defensive cornerstone. Everything's going great. And then, in just one single moment, the entire narrative just flips on its head. Let's dig into exactly how this whole crisis got started.
The injury itself was just brutal, and it looked completely definitive. It was October 12th, back in Week 6, when a teammate accidentally rolled up on his leg, and the diagnosis was pretty much the worst-case scenario, a dislocated and a fractured right ankle. He was carted off in an air cast, and for all intents and purposes, his season was over, right then and there.
And the timeline that followed just seemed to confirm everyone's worst fears. He has surgery just 2 days later, solidifying that grim outlook. The team even made it official. His season was done. The prognosis was a standard 4 to 6 month recovery, which pushes any return well past the Super Bowl. The focus had completely shifted to next season.
But then, just when the book seemed closed on his season, the story took this completely unexpected turn. What was once a definitive ending has now become this dramatic new chapter, and it's filled with a surprising amount of hope.
I mean, just take a look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the initial reality. 4 to 6 months, season's over, see you next year. But on the right, you have these new buzzwords starting to float around. Ahead of schedule, a potential playoff cameo. The crucial point here is that we've shifted from impossible to, well, not impossible.
And this is the quote that changed everything. An NFL Network report dropped this bombshell. Just read these words. Unlikely, though not impossible. Now, in the world of high-stakes playoff football, that tiny sliver of hope is absolutely massive. It changes the entire conversation.
So, this raises the huge question, right? What does not impossible actually mean in the real world? It's not as simple as him just showing up and playing. Let's break down what the potential path back to the field would actually look like. Okay, so this is not a guarantee by any stretch. It all depends on how far the 49ers can go without him. According to the reports, step 1 is that the team has to make it all the way to the NFC Championship game. Only then could we possibly see a cameo. And if they go one step further and reach the Super Bowl, well, that's when a return becomes more likely.
But it is so critical to manage our expectations here. Even if he does come back, the sources are clear it would only be in spot duty. He would not be at full capacity, not even close. And here's the big one. Any early return puts him at a significant risk of re-injury. This is a huge high-risk, high-reward gamble for both him and the team.
So, with all of those warnings and limitations, why does this news matter so much? Well, because the impact of something like this goes way, way beyond tackles and stats on a spreadsheet.
Think about it. Just try to imagine the psychology of a locker room that deep in the playoffs. The sheer morale boost of seeing your leader, the heartbeat of your defense, grinding to get back on the field. You just can't measure that. His presence alone on the sideline, or even for just a few snaps, could totally energize the entire team right when they need it the most.
And that kind of leaves us with this one final thought. In a game of inches, where momentum can swing on a single play, how much is a glimmer of hope actually worth? It might not show up in the box score, but it just might be the spark that fuels a championship run.